Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family.
Hey, this is Jeff Zog from the Dad Awesome podcast. I love the Crazy Cool family, and specifically I hopped into Basecamp, all of these resources, the video resources, the specific guides that let me put the names of my daughters and my wife and just showing me visually, hey, am I making progress? What areas can I attend more to? So I'm so thankful. I want to encourage you guys to hop into Basecamp, sign up, dive into those first intro videos. It's been so helpful for my family.
Hey, all you crazy cool families out there. I have talked to so many moms that are just trying to live by the expectations of social media. They're trying to be perfect on like the Instagram people that post, or they're trying to do all the activities that Pinterest offers, all those amazing, incredible crafts and all that stuff. And the more I talked, and it was like a pattern. And I just felt like the Lord kept bringing these moms to me because in it, I saw a need bubbling up. And within that need, I feel like that it's a need that we need to give you mamas, give you parents permission to have a good yes and a good no, to take care of yourself, to be healthy. And so as I was talking to Macy and I came up with this plan. Let's ask our friend, Miss Jill, to be on our podcast. And we've actually had Jill on a podcast. Oh, I think it was right as 2020 was happening. Because Jill's a health guru, and Jill has gone from the physical and the eating and the exercising and all those things. And she's added a whole new element to her toolbox. And she calls it mental fitness. Right. Mental fitness.
Mental fitness. That's yes. Right.
And so Jill's going to share with you today, with us today. And I'm just so excited for you guys. I'm so excited, especially when holidays are coming up or the summertime activities are happening or all the events that we are called to celebrate and make a big deal of. Jill's going to kind of come in and just help us realize what's best, how are we going to take care of ourselves? And this is the last thing I'm going to say before I'm going to let you talk, Jill, is moms and dads too, families out there. We say at Crazy Cool Family all the time, your healthy best self is what you need to present to your families so that they can be their healthy best self. And so today, this podcast is for you, to help you see a pathway to be your healthiest best self. Okay, so Tag, you're in.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited for whatever comes up in this conversation. But yeah, I've known you guys for a long time now, and I'm so appreciative. You know what? To begin, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Suzanne, but in everything that I've learned in the past 10 years about mental health and raising children, and we observed each other raise kids their whole lives. I recognize something that I have seen you do over and over again. So I just wanted to tell you, you would get down on the kids' level and you would look in their eyes and you would reflect the feelings that your kids were having. You would connect with them emotionally and you would name the feeling. And so I really feel like that was part of your kids being stable, emotionally stable, having good attachment, like stable attachment, is because when you recognize a feeling and you validate that feeling and you reflect it in the face as a mom or as a dad, when you reflect the feelings that your children are having in your own face, it creates stable attachment. So I just want to applaud you and thank you for showing me that, because I was happy all the time. We're going to be happy all the time.
Sunshine. That's what we call Jill, Mary Sunshine.
Yeah, I was really disconnected from all of the other feelings. And so I've had to grow in that. And you were a great role model for me. So thank you.
Well, just to comment on that for 1 second, I think it's because I had 4 little girls. You just can't really help but not get caught up in the emotions, and you had little boys. And so you're like, come on, let's go, get over that. We got to go play. And I'm like, darling, are you feeling sad? I'm feeling sad too. And so,
the boys had the emotions. I just wanted to brush over it. I just wanted to skip right over that and get to the happy part. Let's go play hockey in the
Oh
street,
yeah, I
whatever.
remember countless times on the trampoline, someone would accidentally kick someone, and it was
Or not accidentally.
yeah, or just you're playing Power Rangers, so on purpose. And it was just like an explosion of emotions came from girls and boys. It wasn't secluded to girls, but it was definitely like we had the language and we were like, oh, you're just sad. Like,
Yeah.
just be sad. And they were like, yes, I think I can just be sad. And then we'd be like, okay, now let's be happy, and it'd just be like switching. So I agree with what you said, Miss Jill. I think there was language that we were taught from an early age that wasn't just English, it was emotions. And your profession and what you're doing now with coaching and like all these things you are doing have only added to the language that I feel like my mom kind of built a foundation for growing up. And like my mom said, that's why we're kind of here, is we're presenting Miss Jill, who we have gotten to have in our lives for my whole life, but for decades now. She has a resource and she has an expertise in a coaching business that she has used to honestly impact and bring a lot of depth to both me and my mom and several of other women and men that we know. And so that's why we're here. And that's why we're giving this resource to you. We talked to her in 2020 about health, but now we're coming with a different side of the diamond of health. And we're just excited to share it with you and share why it's important to like my mom said, figure out what your best yes is and what your best no's are and what are those boundaries. And so, Ms. Jill, if you would share a little bit about what you do and it's kind of the heart behind it and the vision and just, I
love that you brought that up, language. I think that is the main thing of what I do, is I bring human language to people. And I've had clients say it's neutral language that helps couples, between a husband and a wife, or between parents and kids. Like it's this neutral language of humanity. And I bring that into the world. So a little bit more about how I got here is I am trained as a health and wellness coach. And so I actually went in thinking they were going to teach me all of these healthy strategies, and then I would just go tell everybody what to do. And that's not at all what coaching is at all. And it's really learning how to listen and learning how to find out what other people need and then what they want to do to grow, basically. And so I did the first couple of years, and I still can do the health coaching, any type of health strategies, changing your diet, changing your exercise, changing your sleep, all those lifestyle risk factors. I can help you do that. But I noticed that people, in trying to change these type of healthy strategies, the emotions would come up and they're stuck. I could tell, you're just always getting to somewhere where you're stuck in a false belief. You're stuck in a false identity. You're stuck in some emotion that is stuck in your body, and you just keep repeating an old pattern. And so I got more interested in that. Also, I recognized that one of my weaknesses was I hated conflict, and I was avoiding conflict, and I recognized that I was avoiding these uncomfortable emotions. So I started delving into the training about how to rectify that in my own life. And I loved it. And I loved it so much that, that I learned all about, there's something called nonviolent communication. I was trained in that for a couple of years. There's also the emotional intelligence stuff. I was trained in that. And actually a new aspect of that is called positive intelligence. I'm getting certified in that right now. So I like to say that I am a mental fitness coach, and I help anxious people figure out how to bring more mental fitness into their life so that they can figure out what that anxiety is trying to teach them. All of the feelings are great information, and they're trying to teach us something really valuable. They're trying to tell us what's important to us so that we can say yes to what's important to us and say no to what doesn't matter.
And so I love that you use the word anxious, because that is a word that's floating around out there right now. But there's so many of us that do not do not label ourselves as anxious. And so I want to open up the word anxious for a second. Anxious is stressed out, bored, frustrated, lonely. It's so much more than just a twisted up feeling. It's basically, I think anxiety or anxiousness is just not being connected to your mind, soul, spirit, body. I mean, so I think that there's a connection there. And what I believe that Jill does, and she's done it for us. I mean, we've taken her course, Speaking Human, and what she does is she, like you said, teaches the vocabulary of what is defining your anxiety, what's defining that angst that's wrapped up inside you as moms, because we put so much pressure on ourselves. We allow our kids to put their expectations and their pressures on us, our husbands, our friends, our families, our moms, everybody's putting all this pressure on us. And I think that pressure manifests as anxiousness. And so I love it that you said that. And I love it that you have created a pathway to unlock that anxiousness and basically bring darkness into the light.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what you were saying, yes, like anxiety is, what's beautiful about what you said is that's the free resource that I begin with is simply a list of human feelings that are very specific words for you to use, because yes, we want to get as specific as we can. Because if you say, I'm just feeling really down right now, well, does that mean that you're feeling tired, or does that mean you're feeling scared? Like those are two different things. If I'm anxious, does that mean that I am feeling pressure? I have a lot of pressure on me, or that I am feeling like you might be bored, right?
Yeah.
You might have this inner energy because you're bored and you need something to.
And Madeline and I've talked about this because I watched her kids for a week actually, and I was like, I'm just bored, and it's not that I don't have enough to do, because moms of small children, they've got more than enough to do. It's not a do thing. It's an emotionally stimulated or intellectually stimulated thing.
Yes.
Something that I learned recently as I took this list and applied it over the last year or two, something that I've learned recently is that a counselor told me that sometimes people don't want to express or share how they feel because they're not confident that it's true. And so he used this analogy of like using this list or having a pool of words to pull from. It's like trying on clothes. You're like putting on, you're like, okay, I feel anxious. Is that because I'm bored? Let me see. Am I bored? No, I don't think I'm bored. Am I like irritated or offended? Okay, let me try that. It's like these words give you specific like things to kind of try on and see, does this resonate? Is this actually how I feel? And it's the best first step to then being able to tell other people, which is kind of the evolution of the way your program works. And I just wanted to share really briefly kind of a personal testimony of like, if anyone's interested in working with Miss Jill, it's so worth it, because she teaches two things that we're going to unpack probably a little bit more, but one is called the FIND method. And it's this progression of steps, just really short, really easy steps to follow through. And she teaches you the method, and it helps you go from what's this very vague triggered state that I'm in to how do I communicate what I need to the people that I love. And it's beautiful. And it's just so simple that it's kind of like once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. And you're constantly walking around evaluating your own method, your own findings. And the second thing, which that's what leads to the second thing that I learned, was like, there was a lie that I was believing, a misbelief in my life, that my emotions were a hassle, or my emotions were bad, or my feelings were negatively impacting everyone around me, which was really hard because I think it's actually kind of partially true. When we're down all the time, when we're negative all the time, when we're stuck in a cycle or a bad behavior, it does affect the people around us. But something that I took away from Ms. Jill's course was like, the things that I am navigating and seeking and understanding in my life, they're actually treasures. Those emotions and those feelings are information and indicators and they lead to treasure. They lead to understanding. They lead to, like my mom said, bringing those misbeliefs out, that darkness into the light, and exchanging it for truth, and growing in my confidence. So there's just so much that gets flipped in your thinking when you walk through this course or understand the FIND method. And I just think it's like the best word I could think of describing it when I was thinking through this podcast and stuff was, it's like a beautiful process that can feel messy. It can feel hard, but it really is a beautiful process where you and God get to find treasure in yourself through these different methods. And so I just want to throw it back to you, Miss Jill, or to Mom. Just what are some of the things that you do, or Mom, that you've learned that you think are, just so worth it, or reasons why people should jump in and start learning these things? What are some of the practical resources?
Well, before we go to practical, I'll let Jill talk about the practical, but I've seen a shift, and it's actually, I think it's a beautiful shift. And Jill, let me see if you've seen it too. I feel like you probably have, because you actually have created a business-ministry that's doing this. But I've seen a shift that we're, instead of running from emotions or labeling emotions as bad, like you said, Macy, we're actually not only embracing them, but wanting to learn from them. Emotional intelligence. I think that Jill, you mentioned that earlier. And so that's what Jill's doing. I mean, that's what she's come in to coach us through that. And I just know that there's so many different tools, even the facts and the feels. As I even listen to different speakers or different podcasts or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's facts and feels. Oh, that's all that is. All that is what's coming in and what you feel about it, and what are you going to do with it to bring out what's valuable. I mean, that's what, right. I mean, and so I'm grateful that it's out there. I'm grateful that we are embracing the whole person that we are. But I just have a tender heart for moms, because I feel like as moms, we put ourselves on the back burner. We don't take care of ourselves, and we elevate all the other needs. I still struggle with it. In my mid-50s, I still struggle with sacrificing myself on the altar of serving and pleasing everybody else. And so, Jill, tell us what you can do for these mamas out there. Like, I want you guys, if you've got, the Christmas is coming up, if you've got a birthday coming up, an anniversary coming up, a Mother's Day's coming up, go and invite Jill to help you get on the other side of being your healthiest, best self.
Yeah. Yes, the FIND model. It does clarify the confusion. When we're triggered by something, we're stuck in an old pattern, we're stuck in an old feeling, and we're just ruminating about it. We're going round and round ruminating. The FIND model can help clarify. It brings so much clarity to, here's the facts of what happened. Here's the fills that my normal human brain, it fills in all the gaps so that I can protect myself if that's needed. So that's normal. But since your normal human brain is doing that, you need to be really intentional about making sure you understand what was a fact, what did I add to that, right? And then what do I feel about that? So, I mean, the simplest version, the most practical thing you can do is get this feelings and needs list and start specifically stating what your feeling is with a very specific labeled word, because feelings are the X marks the spot on the treasure map. So feelings are really important information that are trying to tell you what is important to you. So the I of the FIND model is important values. So the feelings lead you to understand, oh, this matters to me. This is important to me. This is where I need to pay attention. It's like a flag waving. Hey, hey, something's important to you. Pay attention here. Here's where you need to pay attention. And if something is really important to you, that's the other list. That's the values list. So you take the feelings list, you specifically state what you're feeling, but then you look underneath that feeling and you label the value. And values are things like, here's an example. My husband loves spontaneity. I like order. So I love to have a plan. I make a plan and we execute the plan. And then every once in a while, my husband's like, hey, let's just go do. So those are both great values. And we have to figure out as a couple, how can we meet both of these needs? So if something's important to you and it's missing in a situation, you'll feel uncomfortable. And that's for you to recognize, hey, I need to stand up for this is an important value to me. How do I state this? How do I make a request? How can I make a specific request to get more of this in my life? Or where do I go if this other one strategy isn't working to meet my need? Where do I go? I mean, Christ is the ultimate source for all of our needs. Yeah. So a lot of times it can help you recognize when you're trying to get this need met from an outside source that's not working, and you need to go to Christ and get creative on how to get that need met. So just if you had the feelings and needs list alone, that would help you start to recognize, and why this is important for parents and moms, like you said. We are all, as moms, we're trying to meet everybody else's needs. And a lot of times, some of those needs really don't matter to us. And we can get resentful because we're meeting everybody else's needs that really don't matter to us. And we are neglecting what's our most important contribution in the world. So, so that's just a short.
That's good. I think that sometimes as moms, we don't even know. We don't know what our needs are. We don't know what we value. I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking of all the values that have come up and realizing, like, I value beautiful things. And Don does not. I mean, and so it's a great thing that he does not, because he's not picky about if the kitchen's clean or whatever.
Right,
but it bothers me greatly, because, like, why don't you care that the flower beds have weeds in them? I mean, and so to even understand that, but even watching the grandbabies and me valuing beautiful things, I don't want their toys all over the floor, their crackers all over the floor, or just that. And so I think that is, it's just, once again, pressing in to know yourself. I think as moms, we put ourselves on the back burner, and so I just want to give you permission to get to know yourself, because when you do get to know yourself, then you can articulate that and you can share that, and then everybody can love you better, or you feel better loved because you're known better, because you know yourself better.
Yes. And so, the more that you can know what really matters to you, the more you can start to say no. So,
and not feel bad about it.
And not feel bad about it. Like, for years, like you talk about the whole Pinterest thing. Now, Pinterest wasn't back when our kids were little. That wasn't a thing for us. But, but feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to decorate my house for Christmas a certain way, or I need to do like cakes. Like, you're a cake baker, Suzanne. And I'm like, oh yeah, can't do it, And so I was putting all these expectations on myself to decorate my house, to do fashion, like get myself put together. I wear the same clothes 4 days in a row. Comfort is really important to me. I didn't really care about the fashion thing, but I was putting all the pressure on myself, thinking that that's what I need to do to be a, accepted woman. And when I started paying attention, I'm like, I don't care about decorating. So you know what? For Christmas, I put up a tree and some lights. I don't put anything else up, and everybody knows it. And there have been some Christmases where we didn't get the Christmas tree up till Christmas Eve. And I like, that's okay. Like, that's for me, that is what works well. And so to be able to say no, yes, you can have a party. We can have a party at my house. Someone else is going to have to come decorate. I'm not going to. So for me to be able to say no and be okay not meeting other people's needs because that's important to them, I have to be so grounded in my identity, in the fact that I'm already accepted in Christ, and He has made me very unique, and I have limited energy. So for me to fulfill my important contributions that He created me to do, I have to be able to say no to the things that don't really matter to me, that are not part of my contribution in life. But the only way you're going to know what matters to you and what doesn't matter to you is to start paying attention to your feelings and what your values are and what your strengths are. And so.
Well, and what I love about this whole concept is that it actually fits pretty perfectly with our crazy cool family concepts, which is this whole idea of like your relationship with God, which is that identity piece we've been talking about. If that line is strong, then it will overflow into your family. It will affect your marriage line. It'll affect your line with your kids. It'll affect your kids' relationships with each other. And ultimately, it'll affect your kids' relationship with God. And it's, like I said, it's this beautiful process of understanding how God made you, how, like, God put the values inside of you that you've been talking about, and he put your feelings inside of you. You know, he created you with these intricacies. And so he wants to partner with you in your feelings. He wants to partner with you in your values. He wants to show you and solidify your identity so that the overflow is to the benefit of your life, your kids' life, your marriage, and your kids' ultimately relationship with God. And I don't have kids yet, but it gets me so fired up hearing you guys talk about it now that you're on like the not empty nester. I guess, Miss Jill, technically you are empty nester. So it's
yes.
like empty nester season, grandkids are coming up season, and you're like looking back on your motherhood and you're like, man, how valuable would it be to equip and empower moms to choose the best thing, to choose the God thing, the thing that God placed inside of them to value, to understand, and to like say yes to. It just makes me excited being on the front end of motherhood and being like, that's what I want to do. And so as an encouragement to moms, like whether you're at the front like me and you haven't really started yet, or you're right in the middle of it and you have littles and you're in the thick of it and you're so busy and you're scrolling on Instagram and you don't know why and you're just getting more and more anxious.
Because you're bored.
Yeah, because you're, quote unquote bored. Yeah. Or you're more in the season of my mom and Miss Jill of like reflection and growing and just empowering the next generation and bettering yourselves to be the best grandmas and yayas. And are you JJ still? You're
JJ. That's right,
JJ. You can be, it's just like, it's the whole spectrum of like, God made us and we want to come in more alignment with how he made us and what he has for our lives. We want his purpose. We want our relationship with him to be strong and it to overflow. And I just love
that brings up for me in my history. I mean, it's been the past 10 years for me to really receive love from God, because I would say that the rest of the time of my life, I was trying to earn love. And I was trying to do that by pleasing and, serving everybody else around me. And in this world, and even in church, you get applause the more you serve. So I was afraid to say, no, I'm not going to do this certain thing because I'm letting somebody down. I was very afraid of letting other people down and very afraid of letting God down. And I just realized that there's actually a song that I spent 1 year listening to this one song every day. You heard of it. Adele sings it. I can't make. No, it's not that one. Hold on. We might have to.
Does it make you feel my love?
Yes, to make you feel my love. So how do I go back in? So let me go back and say, yeah. So for the majority of my life, I was trying to earn love from God. And I was trying to do that by living above reproach in every way and serving every single person and never saying no. And all you're doing is exhausting yourself. And I had to learn how to receive love. I had to learn that I am already loved. Instead of trying to be above reproach in every way, I had to learn how to be loved. I am already loved. And so it was really important for me to see, like, I've been on both sides of, the story of the prodigal son. I've been on both sides. I've been the prodigal son where I've gone off and done things to try to, help my identity or serve my own identity, whatever. I've done that and had to try to come back home when that wasn't all working well. It didn't serve me anymore. But I've also been on the other side where I was the older brother. Like, I can be real disciplined. And I was like, hey, I'm doing everything above reproach. And why is something bad happening in my life when all these other people aren't doing everything that I'm doing? And they're not struggling with their kids. Like, I'm doing the whole A plus B equals C, and C is not happening. And so it's not a formula. It's totally not a formula, but really it was me recognizing that I had older brother syndrome. I thought there was a varsity and a JV, and I needed to be on the varsity in the Christian circles of the world. And that's not the message of the gospel. Yeah. Like, we are all equal.
Yeah.
And I think the goal of the gospel is to receive love and to have your identity grounded in the fact that you are already loved. Are you trusting that God's love is big enough to cover everything? And once you are able to receive love, that's where your identity is then established. And you're able to say, no, I can't serve here. This is not, I'm limited. I'm not going to be able to do that. That is not where my best energy is. Yeah. Because you're already loved. You don't have to be above reproach in every single thing.
Well, and it goes back to the values. Like God made us in his image. And so within each of us is the value to feel loved, to feel seen, to feel known. I mean, it makes me think of Psalms 139. I knit you together in your mother's womb. Mm-hmm. I created you fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, like there's something innate in us. I wonder how many people, if they were to actually get this needs list, if they were to actually start on these feelings lists, how many of them would start to recognize their little red flag saying, I don't feel very loved, or I feel like I'm striving, you know, like I wonder. And then from there, they go to what's my value? Oh, I need love, or I want love, or I value feeling loved and seen. And then, you know, that's their direct pathway to God, and strengthening that relational line is like, oh, I am loved. Oh, the gospel does say, you know, like I am, you know, for God so loved me, for God so loved the world that he sent his son. It's like the needs in our lives point directly back to the creation needing the creator. You know, it's like, it's connected, and the method and the expertise and what you're offering, it's like, it's helping us unpack and understand who we are, who God is, and like what we were created to do with our days here on earth. And so I want to kind of wrap it up, if we're ready to wrap it up, and just share any last thoughts. Mom, would you like to share anything as we kind of wrap this up?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I was going to do, is that we've literally dangled this free tool, you know, everybody's like, all right, already. And so let's connect them. Let's connect all these moms and these dads to Jill, to Hawkins Wellness. Let's, you know, give them all those details and get them on their pathway to knowing their best yeses and nos and healing and all that.
Yeah. If everybody will just go to hawkinswellness.com, or follow me on Instagram, Hawkins Wellness. I think it's just Hawkins Wellness.
Not or,
and Hawkins Wellness on Instagram. There is a link in the bio on either place where you can contact me. Just put feelings and needs list in the little notes section and give me your email. I'll send you the feelings and needs list. And there's a free coaching call. I'm offering a free coaching call because until you actually experience what it's like to be in a safe space where your emotions are valid and lots of compassion and empathy for those emotions, that's where we can start to explore what your values are. What are your strengths, and where are you overusing those strengths? And that might be holding you back or sabotaging your most important contributions. So hawkinswellness.com or Instagram, Hawkins Wellness, click the links and give me your email and put in the notes section you want the feelings and needs list. I'd love to send that to you. Book a free call. I'd love to hold space for you.
Yeah, it will literally take 1 minute. If you click the link, it will be in the show notes. So however you're listening to the podcast right now, just click on Miss Jill's resources, click the box that says, I want the feelings and needs list, like put it in there. It'll take you 1 minute and it will start you on the journey and the adventure of discovering what you need, what you value, the treasures that are inside of you. I honestly think whenever you're listening to this, it will be the best thing you do all day. If this is what you choose to do for, 30 minutes, however long this podcast is, and then the 3 minutes after we get done, I think it will literally be the best thing you do all day. So please go and do it and take care of your inner self. Start working on being healthy, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally.
And so, and I also just wanted to, with the Hawkins Wellness, I wanted you to go there and click around. Her resources are incredible. She has taken the time and the energy to gather so many resources to help us be emotionally intelligent. She's got the Brene Bronte. I mean, is that her name?
Brene Brown. Brene Brown.
Oh, yes. I mean, and she's got the TED Talks, and she's got, you've got tests on there, right? You've got
assessments on there.
Assessments on there.
Yeah, there's a saboteur assessment. You can figure out how you're sabotaging your life in 15 minutes.
Yes, and so go in there, check out those resources, and then book the call with Jill. Go in there and say, okay, wait a minute, what's this avatar? I mean, and help me. And she's going to help you with all that. And then, I mean, she talked about the course, but the Speaking Human course, everybody I talk to, I tell them they need to do it. She's got it priced at $49. That's outrageous. I mean, it should be $4,900. I mean, it is.
Let me plug that. So online for free, online, self-paced. So on your own time, on your free time.
Yeah.
It's $49. It's 4 weeks. So it's basically an hour a week with a little bit of practice. So that's what's $49. It's your own self-paced. You can do that on your own. In January and February, I am offering a special where we'll do that class on your own, but we'll meet together by Zoom, an hour a week. So 4 weeks in January, or you can do the 4 weeks in February. That's $99. So it's just for another $50. You're going to be able to have me for an hour once a week and for 4 weeks. And you can ask me all kinds of questions. You can sort through all the details of what you're struggling with. So yeah, January and February, we have some specials coming up where the class is going to be live. If everyone just could take away one thing from this podcast today, please start recognizing, give yourself permission to feel your feelings. Give yourself permission to name the feeling specifically, the one that you're having, and try to name specifically the feeling that your kids are having.
Yeah.
And recognize that you follow that up with what is important to you that's missing in this situation. What are you feeling? What's important to you that's missing here? And that is how we start to meet the need. If you're complaining all the time, you're not really specifically knowing what you need. The more specific that you can state what's important to you, the chances of you getting that need met go up tremendously because you know, and you can now ask. So it all starts with validating your feelings.
Yep. So go out there, parents, grandparents, people who aren't parents yet, whoever's listening to this podcast, go check out hawkinswellness.com. Thank you so much, Miss Jill, for jumping on and sharing with our families. This is an invaluable, priceless resource. Let's grow in our language of speaking human together. So we love you, Miss Jill. We're so grateful for you. We love you, families. Please go and take care of yourself by learning and having better mental fitness in Jesus' name. We love you guys, and go be crazy. crazycoolfamily.com.